Jason Rillo with the Pinnacle Blog. This week's topic, school lunches. Near and dear to our heart now that school is back in and everybody's back at school doing their, hopefully, studying thing. But whether you're talking about elementary school, high school, even college-age kids, making the right food choices are a key. Just want to give you a few tips on what your kids may be eating and possibly some ideas on what they should be eating. If you're a client at Pinnacle, you got a general understanding that our recommendations are that you have protein with every meal, you have good, tough, digestible carbohydrates with every meal. But what should your kids be eating? What are the differences there? It's actually not much different. The calorie numbers are a little bit different, but that's it. Most schools in the nation go off of the National School Lunch Program. These are based on 1995 guidelines by the USDA. 1995. That's 14 years. 14-year-old guidelines that basically say you can't have over 30% of your calories from fat and 10% over than 10% from saturated fat. You got to have a third of your RDA and vitamin A and vitamin C, iron, calcium, and no more than 1/3 of the recommended daily calories in your entree for your lunch. The USDA guidelines currently are 1,800 calories for the day for a kid. Now, they don't specify the age of the child, but basically you're probably looking at anywhere between 8 and 18 years old as far as the range is concerned. 1,800 calories, percentage-wise, 55% about from carbohydrates, that'd be about 250 grams, 55, 60%, somewhere around there. 85 grams of protein, which is about 20% of the calories. 85 grams of protein, that's about what we recommend for about a 120, 130 pound individual. So depending on your age of your kid and how large they are and things like that, it's feasible. It's very feasible. About 50 grams of fat. With all that being said, and having those feasible numbers, what are our kids eating? Chances are they're not eating that well. They're not making the right food choices. They're eating a lot more snacks and a lot more calories from these easily digestible foods, which are quickly converted to fat. With this National School Lunch Program, in 2008, we spent $9.3 billion on this school lunch program, providing subsidies and information to schools. You'd think it'd be working. $9.3 billion? Well, let's look at the numbers. In the 1960s and 70s, 5% of our kids were considered obese. By 2002, that number had tripled to 17%. 17% of our kids considered obese, 32% of the kids considered overweight, 85th percentile or higher. 85th percentile? 32% of our kids are at 85th percentile or higher? That's amazing. But when you consider the adults, or 64% of them are overweight, they're only 50% of that. So kids are half as overweight as adults are. That's either way, that number is staggering. For $9.3 billion, we thought we'd be getting a little more than that. As far as how that translates into school lunches, I'm going to use Francis Howell Central High School, where my wife is a teacher, as an example. For the foods that they offer about 1 for 1, good for bad. But it's all about combination. The kid may make a good choice here, make a bad. Oh, I'm going to have a salad with my chicken strips. Poor choice. Most of the clients we have, they make those choices. Oh, I had chicken strips. Were they fried? Yeah. You're missing the boat. Okay, so here is the lunch list. Now, they do have an entree, which varies from day to day, but this is the overall list. Chicken strips, fries, deli sandwich, juice, Fiber One bar. That's pretty good. Fruit, that with a deli sandwich. Fruit bar, like a Nutri-Grain bar. Fruit parfait, I'm not sure if that's like a fruit cup or what that is. Salad, green tea, Gatorade, kind of sugary, but the schools in Francis Howell District are not allowed to have any soda on campus provided. So none of the soda machines or anything like that have any type of regular sugar soda in there. And they're in accordance, actually Pepsi has assisted and they pulled out all the soda there. So that was a school thing and a Pepsi thing at the same time. Hash browns fried, cappuccino, one of those big pretzels, refined carbohydrates all the way. Milk, nachos, Pop-Tart. Oh, government funding for Pop-Tarts? Jeez. Rice Krispies, same thing. Smoothie, that could be good, although it could be bad. It just depends on how much sugar they actually put in the smoothie. Tacos, vitamin water, that's decent. Them and get that along with Gatorade though, and yogurt. Okay, so there are some options that are good, but there are almost equally amount of bad options in there. So, you're taking the good with the bad. I understand that kids don't always make the right choices, but if you're giving them a lot of combinations and they can make a lot of the wrong combinations together because they choose one good and one bad, you're kind of swimming an uphill battle, or swimming against the current, fighting an uphill battle. So also understanding that the child's activity level, when I was in school, we did 30 minutes of exercise in a PE class, which is mandatory every day. When I got to high school, it wasn't mandatory, but about every other semester we had a PE class. And then we would also get exercise at lunchtime. Well, now at Francis Howell Central, I believe they have to take 1 or 2 maybe PE classes, and so that's probably pretty much not going to happen during any kind of semester time. And they don't have time at lunch to exercise because they only get 20 minutes total. So they're not exercising during the day. Are they playing sports? Maybe so. Then they're getting their exercise. If they're not playing sports, what are they doing? Are they messing around on the computer, talking to their friends, not burning any calories? So understanding those two things, that the food choices that they're making, and they're not bringing their brown bag lunch because a lot of times that's too much trouble. I'd rather just pay the money to get the school lunch. They're fighting an uphill battle all the way. My recommendation, make them pack their lunch, or pack it for them. Pack them a snack. They can eat between classes. If you're just an elementary school kid, you don't actually change classes, they can have a quick banana. I'm sure that their teacher's more than willing to allow them to eat a banana or a food bar of some type between classes, as long as they aren't messy with it. And if they're in high school, no excuse. Easily pack those lunches. Have a protein source, good carbohydrate source. Cheese stick and apple can easily be packed. Cheese stick can survive that long without any refrigeration. And have them eat something as soon as they get home from school, so they're not starving and going looking for a bunch of junk. If they've got practice after school, they got some kind of a sport, make sure they got something to choose from. They got some type of a food bar, a zone bar, or something like that. These are choices. It's called planning. Just as adults and clients have to plan, your children have to plan. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Remember that. You follow one, your kids follow one. It is not one versus the other. If you do not teach your kids how to eat correctly now, they're not going to eat correctly later because they never learn the proper way. What you do should be what your kids do. Same foods, same choices. Good luck. Thanks for listening.